We begin in southern Lebanon, where Israel has carried out a series of airstrikes on several towns and villages. Well, the strikes come after a rocket hit a football ground in the occupied Golan Heights, killing 12 people. Israel blamed the blast on Hezbollah. The Lebanese armed group has denied involvement. Well, Zeina Khodr joins us now from Beirut. Zeina, what's the very latest you can tell us about this?
Well, past midnight, Israel carried out a number of airstrikes in multiple locations across southern Lebanon. Now, those strikes carried out near simultaneously, clearly a message from the Israelis, but not the promised response by the Israeli military to that rocket attack in Majdal. What we witnessed overnight really was normal activity, something that we have seen over the past 10 months since Hezbollah opened up a front in southern Lebanon to help the people of Gaza. According to the Israeli army, they targeted the Hezbollah weapons depots and infrastructure. So this is not the response that Lebanon is bracing for. What we expect is that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, upon his arrival in Israel, he cut short his visit to the United States. He will chair a meeting of the Security Cabinet and a decision will be taken. That's expected around 1300 hours GMT. Netanyahu has said that Israel will not remain silent and this will not be, quote, put on the agenda. He also warned Hezbollah that they would pay a heavy price. Now, the question is, what kind of a response will that be? Will it be within the unwritten rules of engagement between the longtime enemies, which means that they will stick to military targets, or will there be a different kind of an attack? So that response really will be a tipping point. It will determine the trajectory of this ongoing conflict, which has been largely confined to the border area.
OK, Zeina, stay with us, because as we mentioned on Saturday, at least 12 people were killed in the occupied Golan Heights after a rocket from an unidentified source hit the town of Majdal. More than 20 other people from the Druze Arab community have been injured. Hamda Salhout has this report.
Children were playing football here, and then a rocket hit. Several people from the Syrian Druze community of Majdal were killed, while dozens of others were injured. Israel was quick to attribute blame and said it was working on a response.
The IDF is currently holding a situational assessment, and we will prepare for a response against Hezbollah. We will finish our assessments and we will act.
In the United States, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he would return to Israel as quickly as possible and convene the country's security cabinet immediately upon arrival. Hezbollah distanced itself from the attack, the Lebanese group putting out a statement saying it categorically denies any involvement. But the Israeli army says Hezbollah is responsible and claims the rocket fire came from Lebanon based on its own intelligence.
Israel responds much more quickly when Jews are the casualties. When Druze are casualties, this would have to be very dramatic for Israel to respond. It is, of course, but I don't think this will be enough to take us into all-out war.
The military says it's also conducting an investigation as to why its aerial defense system failed to intercept the rocket that hit the football field. Cross-border fire between Israel and Hezbollah has intensified in recent months. But this is the deadliest incident in the occupied Golan Heights and could yet test the unspoken rules of engagement between Israel and Hezbollah. Hamda Salhout, Al Jazeera.
Well, Zeina Khodr is still with us. Zeina, there is a fear, at least, that this could be the start of a further escalation. How can this be viewed?
Well, no doubt this is a serious incident, a mass casualty event. We're hearing from the Israeli Army Chief of Staff saying that the military is increasing its readiness for the next stage in the fighting in the north. But Israeli officials really have been threatening for some time now, for the past few months, that they intend to expand the conflict, widen the confrontations in order to force Hezbollah to pull back from the border. Hezbollah's response has been, we will not halt firing until the war on Gaza ends. But both sides really have been treading carefully, calibrating their attacks, focusing the attacks on military targets, because for a number of reasons. If you talk to Hezbollah officials, what they say is that they believe the Israeli army is too weak to carry out another war on another front, as it is bogged down in Gaza. So this is an Israeli army which is tired. But for the Israelis as well, they're going to be facing a much powerful enemy. I mean, Hezbollah is much more powerful than Hamas. They have missiles and rockets that can reach every corner of Israel. So a decision like this is not an easy one to make. So this has, in one way or another, this balance of power has been deterring the possibility of a full-on, wide-scale offensive. But no doubt this is a tipping point. Israel says it is going to act. It will all depend on what kind of a response it does carry out and Hezbollah's response to that response. So it just shows you the tit-for-tat exchange of fire for the past 10 months, how it has dangerously poised this conflict.
Zeina, thanks indeed for that update.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.